video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games, hosted by two very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you and you and you and you and you for joining us. That's right, we have 6 listeners for this. My name is Tommy Daslow, and with me, as always...
Ben Vanel here. I'm just realising, looking at our video, that we both kind of look like we are inmates in an asylum.
Yeah. We're running the damn thing.
We certainly are. One flew over the goddamn cuckoo. 2 flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Yeah. Can you believe it? The 2 men in Melbourne that favour white T-shirts and clear-framed glasses.
Yes.
What are the odds that the only 2 people that like to dress like that would also be friends?
Yeah, and host a podcast.
Oh, about video games.
It just gets better and better.
One of them is doing the comedy festival.
Ah, yes.
Folks, if you're in Melbourne, I have my show, a 7-minute voice memo left on scene. It is starting on April the 7th at 6:20 p.m. at the Cooper's Inn, and it runs until April the 19th. You have 12 chances to come out and see it. I would love to see you there. You can make a bit of a night of it and see a bunch of friends of the pod and just other great comedians in general out and about. At the festival, including friend of the show, Kate Dennett, who we went and saw on Friday night together. Her show is wonderful. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it, honestly. I know that sounds like I'm blowing smoke, but the way that she has kind of merged a show about a brutal life experience and done it in like a kind of character musical kind of way. Yeah. It's really something.
Yeah, very high energy, lots of like fun dance music, incredible lighting setup as well. I meant to ask her about her tech because I think, it's just a really well set up and put together show. Great production, like really feels like you're seeing something special. And fucking loved it. Incredible stuff. She hasn't done a show for such a long time, and to come back with one like that, it's so good. And long-time listeners will be familiar with Kate. Yeah. She's done live shows of ours, done podcast episodes in studio. But highly recommend that. And on the same gosh darn evening, Tommy, we saw another friend of the pod.
We did.
We saw the great Genevieve Fricker, who was with us for... God, about 5 months, it feels like, last year. We covered, what do we cover? The White Lotus and then Severance with Jen.
You can find those episodes in this feed. It was like a side show that we were doing called Video Drone at the start, like this time last year, basically. I think. Maybe Severance ended this time last year, but you can go check that out. But we went to her show at Storyville, and it was wonderful. We had a great time.
Yes, she's a very, very funny woman, great writer, and kind of weirdly, similarly takes some pretty intense topics and turns them into just a really funny show. So highly recommend those friends of the pod, as well as many more. There'll be so many more names that you can recognize in the guide and on the website.
Jen is only on until the end of this week, so you've only got a couple of chances left after you hear this. And Kate is on until the end of the festival on April 19. And, of course, tickets for my show are at tommydaslow.com.
Yes.
I mentioned that already, but hey.
tommydaslow.com. I've seen a trial of it, and it is, I will say, Tommy, one of the better stories you've reeled out for the comedy festival.
Oh, they'll let anyone in here.
No, it's great. It is genuinely a great story, it's a really fucking good time. I enjoyed just sitting there about 1 meter from you watching the trial. So I can't imagine how. I put on a very
weird trial in my office to a combination of the people that I work with, and then a couple of other sets of friends. None of whom know each other or have any crossover whatsoever. Yeah. So the kind of milling around period before it started was very strange.
But it's a great story. So get along. TommyDaslow.com.
I'm excited. I'm also excited to talk about some video games this week.
Good.
Of course, there's been a couple of studio closures. Why wouldn't there have been? There's been some AI being used in games. Why wouldn't there be?
Yes.
But what else is where should we start? What about this? Why don't we go through this Xbox showcase?
Yes, let's do that. Kind of had no idea it was happening until after it had already occurred.
Yeah.
But I sat down and skimmed through that entire half hour or so presentation. It was like, I think, it's a partner showcase. It's a third-party games, specifically, I guess, ones that are like launching on Xbox or Game Pass.
Yep.
I think the biggest one that we were already kind of keen on is Stranger Than Heaven.
Yes.
It's like a time era spanning, location jumping detective story, made by the fine folks at what's it called?
Ryu
Gotoku. That's right, the developers of the Yakuza series.
Which may or may not be set in the Yakuza because people noticed there's this trailer, great trailer by the way.
Yes.
Some cool like jazz, some real Whiplash style jazz drumming.
Yes.
In the background. That's what a cretinous approach to jazz. Just calling any drumming is Whiplash style.
Yeah. Miles Teller-esque drumming.
I bet if you're someone who knows anything about that style too, you'd be like, not really.
Nah. Wrong era, wrong style.
But this trailer really focuses on the fact that it's 5 different eras, 5 different cities. I think we go back to the 20s.
I think so.
And or maybe even the 10s, 20s, 40s, 50s, 60s, I think it was.
Right.
It was every decade, and then the 30s is just not in there. But anyway, some people noticed that in the 60s there's a shot of a location, and it's the same location that is in the Yakuza games.
Right.
Which could just be them reusing assets. It could just be set sort of in the same world, or it might be some form of Yakuza prequel setting up. Some people might appear. Because you played, Judgment?
Yes, I did play Judgment. Yeah.
Do any of the Yakuza characters appear in that? Like, is there any overlap at all? Do you know?
I feel like maybe there's reference to one or two of the clans.
Yeah, okay.
But not like super explicit is kind of the thing with it. It's like, well, yeah, there might be like the locations are similar or the same, but it's more. It's not like you're gonna see like a big Easter egg cameo from someone. It's more just like, yeah, it's the same.
But they
world.
also don't. When they make this other stuff, they don't. They're not like it's gonna. There's not the precedent for like everything they've done is like that's not Yakuza is like completely separate.
Right,
but it's not crazy to think that they would just have like some of the same locations or like a couple of characters could be mentioned. Yeah.
I mean, they're all set in Japan, so it could be as simple as like yeah.
But this looks great. I'm so excited to see more of this and find out more of sort of what you're doing and how the story across the different eras works and links into each other. And this is going to have its own big dedicated special showcase. It's funny how people just call these directs. It's sort of like the brand name that becomes the shorthand for the thing.
Yes.
Even though like direct is the thing that Nintendo use, and so in the official language that comes out from Xbox or Sony, they've always got their own. Oh, it's a showcase event.
Yeah. It's a state of play. But another showcase for this game specifically on May the 6th.
Yep.
And do we? We don't have a release date at all for it.
No.
But was it kind of like tipped for 2026? I'll see if I can find.
I don't know. I can't remember. I would assume you would think if they're doing a big showcase on it that it's this year. Like if they're having a big showcase for it in May, you'd think that maybe it's end of the year, perhaps,
or early. I think people are maybe tipping early 2027, which is that's okay. I can put up with that. Oh, It's expected to release during Sega's fiscal year ending March 31, 2027. Okay.
I would
That's-
imagine.
That was
surely,
an AI summary, so who fucking knows?
Great. Surely there's a release date slapped on the end of that showcase on. On May 6th.
Yeah. Good point.
Again, though, this is one of those funny things where they're like, Xbox presents and the branding of Xbox is all over it, and it's like Xbox is going to present a big showcase dedicated to this game on May the 6th, and it's like, yeah, it's coming out on everything.
Yeah. I mean, unless that showcase reveals it's, a timed exclusive, but, I'm pretty sure it's just going to come on everything. It's just going to come on everything.
I heard. I caught it. I thought I'd let it go, but I caught it. There's a game based on the world of The Expanse, which I don't know. I got up to the 5th book and I've lost it somewhere in my house. Like I'm going insane.
Really? Yeah,
can't find this fucking book. Want to keep reading The Expanse, and paperback books are cheap enough that I'm like, I feel like, do I just get it? Do I just get another copy? I bet if I do that, then I'll find the original one, or more likely, like when the day comes that we move from this house, I'll find it like down the back of a couch or something. But it is shitting me.
Yeah, so, that's fair.
I was kind of put off by the look of this game, just by the fact that it annoyed me about this prison that I've made for myself when it comes to reading The Expanse.
I mean, that's completely fair and totally rational.
Thank you. I thought so.
Yeah. Well, I've still got book 3 in my house, even though I started listening to the audiobooks. I have to... it's just sitting in my bookcase like I own the damn thing. I've got to take it out, I've got to slap it on the table, and I've got to return it to you. But I don't know. This looks a lot... it looks a lot like the old Mass Effect games, the good ones, which is a good sign. It doesn't look like a shitty licensed, kind of shallow version of this story. But I also am just very curious how they're going to adapt it, because it's such a massive world, like as in universe.
It's sort of based in that world, right? So it's not. I think as soon as I started watching it, I was a bit like, I mean, this just could be any game,
right?
Like the fact that it's set in this world that I like from the books. I'm not getting any of that from the trailers, and in fact, I would be more interested if it was just like a straight up video game adaptation of the story of the books. I'd be more into that, like playing as the characters, and like that scenario is so interesting. Like, there's nothing in this that looks, this looks like a million.
It looks like
games.
Mass Effect. It really does look like Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Without as many of the fun aliens and shit. Because like the sort of world that the two writers create in the books is cool, but it is also kind of just like, what if humans got to some other planets? Like, the uniqueness is, like you say, the actual adventure that those characters and the characters themselves, that is the real hook of that series.
Totally.
So I don't know. It's interesting as well that this is coming out next year. But I also believe that game from ex-Mass Effect developers is coming soon, and just looks better. It looks more polished. It looks like people who made 3 or 4 of these games and are making their own cool version. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Hades 2 coming out on Xbox soon.
Yes.
I kind of forgot that had been a Switch exclusive for a little while. What else? I mean, we've just ripped through these. A lot of these I don't think are of any great interest to either of us. You ever play Serious Sam?
I did back in the day.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was pretty fun.
Excited for Serious Sam Shatterverse?
I'm honestly, no. I'll wait for reviews. It's just like, it's that kind of first-person shooter, very arcadey, very like, not a hell of a lot of story, It was kind of, it was sort of like playing a horde mode game, but that was the whole game from memory. Right. But hey, they got to make another game. Good for them. And I'm sure people do like this game. Like it's...
Yeah. It does
This
seem
franchise.
like a thing that is very of its time. But
Yes, that's
I'm
a
sure
good.
there's some.
That's a good way of putting it.
I think that's basically it, right? I mean, the only thing that stuck out to me when I went through this, as you say, was the Stranger Than Heaven, big reveal. Everything else, I don't really care too much about the fact that there's a Bluey game coming out. Why is that in a partner direct? Like, that's just.
Yeah,
You
that's
put
weird.
that news out if you're a parent that's got a kid that's
Yeah.
in, you know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
news can find its way to you in any number of ways.
Yeah, it honestly that probably will be the most successful game mentioned in the entire showcase.
Yeah.
I mean, I still haven't played Dispatch, and I'm not going to play it on Xbox, but I will probably get around to it at some point. I thought that Alien Deathstorm looked pretty cool. I think it's a great name. It's a great title. And it's just kind of like a sci-fi first-person shooter, which I kind of didn't get hugely into Doom: The Dark Ages. And so I'm ready for something, in that same vein. I also thought there was this game that was revealed. It's like vampires, and it's like this, I don't know what it is, like a RPG, a first-person RPG sort of thing. But then the reveal of the name at the end, it played like a joke from a parody film where just more words kept getting revealed. Because
I'm scanning through to that bit. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's so bad.
Hunter the Reckoning Death Wish.
You know what's a great name for a game? Death Wish.
Yeah, or Hunter.
Or the Reckoning.
Honestly. Just like it was like, big boardroom. Everyone's trying to pitch their own title. No one backs down. They just go, all right, let's just make it Hunter the Reckoning Death Wish.
Is Hunter already a game, or Hunter the Reckoning already a game, and Death Wish is like a follow up?
I mean, I have to
one
assume
of these
that.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Hunter the Reckoning is a tabletop role-playing game set in the World of Darkness series. So, yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. But still.
Yeah. Still, I mean, come on. Have some fucking
Come on,
self-respect. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What else was there? Eternal Life of Goldman, we've already kind of, had a little peek at. That was in the Steam Next Fest. The demo was released. Actually, most of these have kind of been released or mentioned elsewhere. Grave Seasons looks cool.
Super Meat Boy 3D is out today.
Today, yeah. But I think you're right. Like I think Stranger Than Heaven is the real hero for us from that showcase. And we'll get to fucking have a little deep dive on May the 6th for it.
Sure. We sure will.
We surely will.
We surely will. What else have we got here on the docket? Did you see this story?
Yes, I did see this story.
Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Now, I should say also, I was kind of first alerted to this by a user in our Discord. And by the way, if you get onto our Patreon, you get a bonus episode every week, and you can be in our Discord.
Yeah.
Where we're interacting. We're regularly in there interacting. But someone posted in there about this, a DLC Street Fighter character called Alex.
Mm-hmm. What a name. They should have called him Hunter the Reckoning Death Wish.
Alex. And people initially were really into him because he's apparently mechanically really good character, fun to play as, all that kind of stuff, great animations. And then you finish his campaign and you see the ending of his story, and spoiler alert, he hooks up with his stepsister. Yeah,
who is also his second cousin in the lore of the game, apparently.
Yeah.
And he's knocked her up. They've gotten together, and people were like,
what the fuck?
Hey, Capcom, is this like the intent of this? Like, was this meant to be that way? Did someone mistranslate a line? Like, what's going on here?
It's so bizarre. The fact that you don't the fact that you don't find this out until the very end. So you're like, you've played as this guy, you're like, the great man, I love him. And then it's like this brutal, like, right at the last second, you find out the worst piece of information. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, this guy's a cousin fucker. This is George Michael Bluth.
Yeah. It's so weird, though, like the director tweeted, "We apologize for any confusion that recent topics regarding Alex's story may have caused. While we have not changed the characters' backstories after internal review by the development team, we plan to revise certain text passages that may have been misleading in the near future."
Yeah, misleading.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's sort of, it's very strange. They are going to patch it. They're going to update this. They haven't really said what they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently they're still going to be lovers, but hey, maybe they'll make them direct siblings instead.
The story online was even revised, still acknowledging their step siblings, but removing the second cousins part.
Right. Yeah. So it's still a porn plot. It's just
right.
It's just less like biologically incestuous, which, hey, if you have to clarify that.
Isn't there one of those bonus things in Street Fighter 2 where you're like smashing up a washing machine? It's like
yes.
but the stepsister's stuck inside the washing machine. Their ass hanging out. Yeah, why are they so vehement on like, no, they must be step siblings? Yeah. It's so weird.
They must be step siblings. They must be together romantically, but maybe we'll take away the cousins bit. Yeah.
So odd.
It's still so off-putting. It doesn't fix the, like you said, the fans who got attached to this character and loved playing as them and then finding out, like, it's still fucking off. Like, it's still, just make it, just remove it entirely. Just change the end.
And like, even removing a reference to it, it's like, if you're playing it and if you're like following the news, like, you know that that's the intent. So it's not like, you can't still sort of detach and go like, oh, cool, it's like a different guy. It's like, I know what they're not saying here.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't changed it to be something like,
God.
above board.
Yeah. Fuck.
Boy, it says a lot about the state of gaming news when you're like, you're looking through the headlines and you're like, oh, thank God, a story about incest.
Something to kind of pick us up out of the doldrums.
Out of the doldrums of firings and AI usage. So let's get it out of the way. 1,000 people have been fired from Epic, huge layoffs in the Fortnite team. I wonder if I could verify this quickly or not. I just saw a thing this morning about how like they've announced that there's like some AI generated like brain rot characters that are going to be added in there. So it's like, you sack all these people and then you just start immediately putting in these like dog shit skins.
Yeah, fuck. 'Cause I mean, the biggest thing, the worst thing, the most damning thing is that Epic are making like $6 billion in revenue a year off Fortnite alone. Or maybe in total, but I imagine Fortnite would account for a lot of that. Yeah, just ridiculous. It's happening across the board. It happened with another developer that we'll talk about soon, but clearly I think it's a combination of the rising cost of everything, which we've talked about before, like technology, parts, all that stuff is getting more expensive. And then the ability to, replace people more cheaply is it's fucked. I saw another headline, talking about how referencing like the Naughty Dog games and sort of the bigger budget games, like budgets could get up to $300 million for a AAA game because of the cost of everything these days, which this is not going in a good direction. I can't imagine we see it, some kind of video game industry crash like we saw back in the day. Like, people still want to buy them, but everything's just getting kind of fucked.
Yeah, they're still selling incredibly well, so I don't think it's going to be... And that crash was because of just, like, pure shit coming out. Like, when stuff does get out, generally speaking, like, the caliber is incredibly high, but... might mean that we start seeing... it's I guess most arts professions are like pretty unstable. So
Yes.
you go into it knowing that. But yeah, I wonder if we start to see less young people, feeling like video game development is not a viable career. Like
Yeah.
certainly in a case where, like, it's hard to make money out of painting or out of, stand up or, any number of art forms, but you can be like, it's enough for me to be doing it
Yeah.
as a hobby on the
Yeah.
side in addition to my 9 to 5. And maybe if you're like an indie developer just wanting to chip away and make a small game, that's something that you could do, just in your spare time.
Mm-hmm.
But these big games need people who it is their full-time job in an
Yes.
office, who
Yes.
have decided to, like, they're not, they're doing it because they love it, but they're not just doing it on the side for love of the game, and like they have a more stable career. So like, yeah, these big studios might be ending up finding it that there's just not people out there to employ, because
Yeah.
you can't, it feels like a huge risk to be like, yeah, I'll study this and I'll get really good at it and I'll aim to have it be my full-time career.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other side issue, or potentially the real issue with Epic as well, is that some roles might get replaced with AI. Like what has reportedly happened. This is a first-hand account. This comes from a former employee of Warhorse who make Kingdom Come, Deliverance, and Deliverance 2, and all of the related DLC. They apparently posted in the game's official subreddit, posting yesterday, March 27th, with no forewarning. I was invited to a meeting and promptly told that in an effort to make the company more effective and save finances, as of next month, my position at the company would become obsolete in favor of using AI for all translations going forwards. Now, this person, their job was to translate from Czech, which is where Warhorse are based, into like a bunch of languages. It wasn't just Czech to English, I don't think, but the game's been localized or translated for a bunch of countries. Yep. They worked there for nearly 4 years, and they were told you are redundant. You have been replaced by AI.
Yeah.
Which is fucking brutal.
Yeah.
I'm sure that AI cannot translate in as elegant a way as a human can.
Well, I was talking to someone about this the other day about how, like, translation, we were talking about it specifically for like manga and anime. It is such a fascinating job because you need more than just knowing both of the languages. A lot of times you're having to kind of rewrite passages because the original text might be like wordplay, or it might be a joke that's based on like a specific rhythm or a specific sounding word, and so then you have to like figure out an equivalent. Like it's such an incredible skill set that I don't think really gets enough credit or recognition, as evidenced by the feeling that like it can be one of the first things to just easily be replaced by AI. And like, yeah, I mean, it as you and I found that night in that beautiful night in Osaka, where we were drinking at that weird Neon Genesis themed bar with our four beautiful Japanese friends who we met. We literally were having a conversation via Google Translate, and it's gotten a lot better. Like it used to be so clunky, and it's definitely better, but it's still not. It's not for piecing together a conversation in a bar. It's fine,
right?
Would you bank on it for a whatever 100-hour game that
right? There's so
people
much
are paying good money to own. That's the other thing. Is like if you're paying to play this in English, you've spent good money on it. It's not enough to just run it all through. Like, surely you're having to pay someone to go and like look through and check that it's all okay. That's the thing. If you're having to get someone to do that anyway, then you may as well just get the person to do it properly. It's not like you can just trust it to be 100% accurate and send it out the door.
No, and for games like the Kingdom Come games specifically, there's so much dialogue. There's so much history. Like there's so many like cultural references and context that I don't know. Maybe an AI can fucking read Wikipedia, but like you said, with sort of with actual human dialogue, there's cultural context, there's wordplay, there's so many things that you need an actual fucking human being to understand and then be able to convey in a different language. It seems like a pretty shitty and kind of short-sighted move. Apparently the same developers have come out and said DLSS 5, which we talked about last week, will, there's no way the haters will stop this, that this will someday just become the new thing. And maybe that's correct. But and look, this might be coming for thousands of roles across many industries. And this is just kind of the first big one. But I think very brave of this person to come out and openly say, this is what happened, this was my job, and it's been replaced.
Spilling the tea in the official subreddit. What a move.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck. So couple of shitty stories there. Another one which is not based around, it seems like, anything nefarious, but the developer of Wanderstop, the tea brewing game that we both played and enjoyed, they could not get funding for their next game, which was a car combat game. They put up a little preview trailer for it, and it looks cool. It's kind of that toon-shaded, cel-shaded kind of visual style. And they unfortunately had to shut down because no one wanted to fund their game. It's very unfortunate because I would have liked to see them kind of keep, like not literally developing, but like develop. I wanted to see how they continued to expand, the kind of things that they wanted to put into games, and their approach to games, their philosophy was very interesting and was very like, it was very intelligently bedded into the gameplay and the concept of Wanderstop. So, it's a real shame.
I mean, again, it's like Wanderstop felt like it got a lot of kudos. It got great reviews. It was like a real talking point when it came out. And to think that like you could have a game that is sort of ticks so many of the boxes of the success that you would want from a small game and not be able to get any funding for another one. I completely missed this, but I'm just looking at this trailer now. It looks cool.
Yeah,
it's
it does.
It's just a prototype, but mechanically it seems like it's got a sort of a kind of a Rocket League-y style of movement, but in more of a almost like Bayonetta sort of Devil May Cry kind of setting.
Yep.
I'm sure with a little more time and money on it, it could have been something great.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, on to...
Life goes on.
Slightly more positive news.
Yes,
that was exactly what I was going to talk about next. The great film star that we all love and go and see his movies, Glenn Powell, is the voice of one Fox McCloud.
So the Mario movie is out tomorrow, and they've just had the premiere in Japan. And like 2 days ago, on social media, they just randomly put up a new poster for the Mario movie that Fox McCloud is in, and most of the discussion seems to have been, why is this the way you reveal this? Like, it's not in any of the trailers. They hadn't said anything about it. The movie's out in less than a week. Kind of could have been a neat little surprise in the movie.
Right.
This is sort of in between, like, if you had have just revealed him in the trailers and we sort of knew he was in there all along, then that's something. Also seems like Glenn Powell's a guy that you would also want to have on the junket with all of the rest of them.
Yeah.
Really odd.
Yeah.
And, like, there hasn't... Like, kids don't know what Star Fox is. There hasn't been a new game in, like, 15 years.
No. And to be fair, I guess kids probably don't know who Glenn Powell is. So
True. I was thinking about how, in their games, Nintendo do such a great job of this stuff appeals to little kids because it's very bright and colourful and it's very easy to pick up and enjoy with someone who's younger, that's in your life in whatever capacity. And that there's an easy skill level of entry, but there's also, slightly more challenge if you are an older player in some of their franchises, or, if you want to go for collecting everything. That's something that they've always done really well. That's the secret to their success, is that
Yeah.
they're Pixar. It appeals to, there's truly something for everyone. And seeing the approach to the movie and the rollout of the movies, which just feels very like, just the sort of worst American version of it, where it's like a bunch of colorful bullshit is happening because it's a kids movie, and the plot doesn't matter and the dialogue doesn't matter, but it's just all bright bullshit that kids are going to enjoy.
Yep.
And then just, oh, look, here's a character from 1981 in the background for the 40-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of, it's the same stuff, but it's just done in such an inelegant way where when you play the games, you don't notice that that's what's going on, because there's just a real beauty and charm to them. And then this, like, just putting a poster out being like, oh, look, if you're thinking it was too much like a kid's movie, here's something for all the 40-year-olds to maybe entice you to go along by yourself if you don't have kids. It's like, it's so cynical and like, I don't know. I don't know if I want, I don't know, all these people being like, oh, does this mean there's going to be a Smash Brothers movie? It's like, I don't want there to be a Smash Brothers movie.
No. Honestly, the only good thing to come out of it is that the wonderful journalistic reporter Nate the Hate has put out a podcast, and he's said, sources that I trust have told me there's going to be a new Star Fox game, and there's going to be an Ocarina of Time remake, potentially out this year, if not like relatively soon. I think the idea is that there's going to be an April Nintendo Direct that's going to reveal these things and potentially more. But
he says 3D Mario bumped back to 2027, and that new Star Fox game sort of in the classic style.
Yeah.
Which it's funny again to say like in the classic style when there hasn't been one for like 15 years. But anyway, that could mean anything. That could mean in the style of the last one that was really bad, because that's sort of classic at this point.
Yeah.
But that would be cool. Would also, I guess sort of make sense as to why he's in the movie.
Yeah.
And Ocarina of Time remake, apparently the big like holiday Christmas game, which would be interesting, because I don't think that Nintendo have ever really done like a fully fledged like remake.
Yeah.
Or certainly not very often. Like they've done like that Link's Awakening Switch version had the complete different art style. It wasn't just like an HD remaster, but the skeleton of the game underneath was all identical to how it like ran and played and felt back in the day. So like, I don't think they've ever really done anything to the level of like a, like a Resident Evil remake, which, and I don't even know if that's necessarily what this would be, but I think if anything in their catalog was sort of worthy of a complete like reimagining, it would be this, and it could be, if they, I think I'd want it to be a bit of a bit of a Final Fantasy VII remake style.
Yeah.
Expanded some different stuff in there. I think it could be fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've still never played this game. I never had the 64. 64? It was on the 64 or the GameCube? I don't know.
64, yeah.
I never had either anyway. So I've just never played this. People have always held it up as one of the best. Certainly up until Breath of the Wild came out, it was kind of just like default, the best Zelda game, one of the best games of all time. Even if they just put it in the, Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
/ Breath of the Wild engine, and kind of recreate everything from the game in that engine. So visually and, the combat and the puzzle solving can be, handled that way. Like that would be enough for me. But like you said, they've never really done anything like that. They've just updated the style of varying degrees of like updatedness. Sometimes it's just like put into HD. Sometimes
that's it. I mean, it feels weird to say about a company that are constantly being talked about for how much they love doing re-releases, but those re-releases do tend to all be HD upgrades or like slight remasters. Like they've never really. I think there's a Metroid 2 kind of remake that they did on the 3DS, I think, which is probably the most extensive one of these like version of this that they've ever done. So just even the fact of them doing a full ground up remake, if that's indeed, I mean, it might not be that at all, but I would imagine that it's like there's elements of it that are just enough of its time that they might want to fuck around with. Like, I mean, 64 graphics, they can't just do like a a slight HD version of. I think it would have to be like,
because they did that,
as you say,
for Mario 64. They did that. They put Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy 1, together for that Switch One release. It was literally that. It was like, well, let's just get it so it can run on an HD console and
I mean, Ocarina of Time is already, it's on the Switch Online. Like, you can play the original on there. So I don't think it, like, the fact that they've already got it out there in some capacity, if this remake, if this is real, it would speak to them doing something fairly dramatic to it to justify it. But
also it being like the end of year big holiday release. Yeah. Like, it can't just be an upscaled version of it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. A second bit came out as well to this conversation. I think it was maybe someone else chiming in, but he talked about how there's also apparently a Metroid something, I think a remake. Let me just get this up. Super Metroid remake and a new Wario Land.
Oh.
And a Switch sports title.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for that. New Wario Land game. Fucking hell.
I mean, I'd be there.
It's about goddamn time. Yeah.
It's about goddamn time. So should we get into what we've been playing?
I think we should. Looking at the gosh darn clock, you've played a whole bunch of things, so why don't you run through some stuff? I've only played one game, and I played the bloody hell out of it.
Played the absolute bejesus out of it.
That's right.
Well, I finished Pacopia.
Congratulations.
I've hit the credits, and you get you unlock a little ability that makes it way easier to do your construction and all that kind of stuff. You can do like big batches all at once.
Ooh.
So yeah, as I often tend to do, got to the credits and did have every intent of jumping back in and doing more, but haven't yet.
Yep.
Which is funny to imagine that, in my head going, well, that's that all done and dusted when, like, most of my towns in there are just, I've done the bare minimum.
Yeah.
There's just habitats everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of knew, I'm like, well, I'm going to go back and tidy these all up in the post-game. And if I never do it, it's very funny to think that you would look at the state of my world and go, that's completed.
Those poor Pokemon.
I had a wonderful time with it. What a surprise.
Yeah.
Thought it'd be fun, but didn't expect to get that hooked into it and to see it sort of become this kind of cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
And sort of the thing that is making people go, oh, yeah, guess I've better get a Switch too.
Yeah.
Had a great time with that. They also dropped during the week a demo for Tomodachi Life.
Yeah.
Living the Dream, which carries over into the main game, which is out in 2 weeks, I think. Fun to get a bit of a handle on what this is, because I never played any of the others, or the one other. I'm not sure.
One other, I think. Yeah.
So you're limited in this to being able to make 3 characters, and it's like the classic me character creator thing that people would have used before, presumably in some capacity at someone's house playing Wii Tennis. And then they're dropped into a house, and they'll say things like that they want a bit of food. You have to go and buy them some food. All of the food is like actual photos of food, which
hell yeah,
looks really cool in comparison to this very simplistic art style that the characters are rendered in. And then you make another you make another me, and it sort of takes you through like dragging them around the city and getting them to be friends with the other me's and have little conversations. It's really like there's no real like objective or any like quest or task that you're doing. It is just basically making little guys that look funny and setting their personalities and stuff, and then seeing what they say to each other and earning little points to buy new clothing for them and improve their houses and stuff like that. But in less of a hands-on way than in something like Animal Crossing or Pocopia. Like it is more about just like, almost this weird sort of Sims, but sort of like I don't know what you'd call it. Like, you're just, it's sort of just playing out this little scenario for you. It's very, very charming, very odd. I had a lot of fun making my little characters in there. And I think it limits what you can screen capture and screen record.
Right.
But obviously you can always just use your phone to film the screen, because I've seen so much stuff on Twitter of people going, this game really does let you do anything. Like you can call your village like Suck and Fuck Island. You can make, you can make a character and call them a slur. Like it's strangely hands off for Nintendo, which I think people are really loving about it. And just like seeing because I put in there some little cartoon characters that like I've made that I've been drawing for years, and they're designed in such a way where they're not really like human faces. So I was having to like, make the nose as big as I could and to make like a little snout, and then like bring their hair like right down to cover the eyes, and getting it, sort of 70% of the way there to it sort of looking like my drawings do. But then going on Twitter and seeing like some of the stuff people have been able to do with like what on the surface seems like it's a fairly limited and restrictive character creator, you actually can go pretty nuts with it. For one, you can just like draw on the face. So you can just go into a free edit mode, and then you can use the touch screen to just kind of, you can set like no eyes and no mouth and just have like a round head and like draw those features on yourself.
Fuck, that's very cool. I think people are sort of speculating or like worried they might decide to censor aspects of it between the demo coming out and the full release, just based on the fucking crazy and like genuinely offensive shit people are making and taking photos of. But I feel like if they haven't done that in the demo, it's like nothing's happening that a normal person wouldn't predict. Of course people are going to call it Cum Island and make a guy called Mr. Fuck. Like a lot of Charlie Kirks running around. Because you kind of can put like what's an activity that this guy likes that he would want to talk to someone else about. Right.
And people have put like jerking off, and then the characters are in a conversation about jerking off. It's got that cool like text to voice thing so it speaks all the dialogue, and it's got a cool thing where when you name the place or a person or the activity, if the pronunciation isn't right, you can edit it so that you can like type in how it should pronounce it. Right.
Your phonetic
you type it in phonetically, and it's like it never shows that, but then it's like,
that's cool.
It pronounces the word, which is neat. It's got like, so you really do have a lot of control over making it feel like exactly how you want, like how you want the characters to look and sound, and you could fuck around with the pitch and rhythm of their voices and everything. It's cool. I'm interested to play more of it and see what kind of sticking power it has.
It cuts off your progress as well, apparently, in the demo. Like there's you
can make a limit of 3 characters on it, and I haven't gotten up to what the cutoff point is, but you get a little reward in the full game for finishing the demo.
Oh, cool.
And you can carry all of that stuff over. But even in the demo, there's like a couple of things that you're kind of starting to unlock new little items, and it'll be like, oh, you can't get this one in the demo.
Right.
Like already it's like seems like you are getting stuff pretty rapidly in the main game.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely going to play the demo before it comes out. Yeah, I actually found the source for that sort of concern about, the content. So the company's Kit Ellis, the company's former senior PR manager, has, written somewhere online, Blue Sky or somewhere on X, I think.
Oh, he
actually
does a podcast. Him and this girl Crystal. They used to be he used to work at Nintendo. He used to be one of the. I think that's the same guy. He used to.
Not one of the
They used
Treehouse
to host
people?
like the Nintendo Treehouse
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
right.
And now they are on the outside and they do a pod
Okay.
about their old workplace.
Yeah, right. Very cool of them. But yes, basically they have said Nintendo may have made a miscalculation because people have phones, quote, and that seems like a really basic thing that everybody would understand. But Nintendo's always had a very strange point of view on these things and has often, when I worked there, been really shocked at some of the things that people have done with user-generated content the moment one of these games comes out. They were, quote, really surprised when people, especially in North America, started to make stages that looked like a certain male body part in games like Super Mario Maker or Smash Bros. Like, quote, just goes to show that sometimes the things that you hear and again and again are actually true. Like Nintendo not entirely understanding the internet. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully they don't they don't crack down and they let people go fucking hog wild.
Yeah, something about this does feel like they would realize now that it's too far along for them to have those concerns, maybe. And definitely I would think, I mean, when I hear that, I think that more points to them just thinking that, restricting the use of the share button is enough to nip that in the bud, not realizing that, people are just going to share it in other ways. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, something else I've been playing this week is the DLC for Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which is quite a strange little package.
Yeah.
It is a mix of, the bulk of it is these little, Mario Party style mini games that are kind of these remixes of the stages in the base game with little things like racing to the finish line or having to all jump at the same time on a platform.
Right.
But I haven't played any of them because they're all multiplayer only. What I have been playing is the single player stuff that is in there, which is less. I don't know. There's a good amount of it in there. I think from what I've seen, it's in total 6-ish hours worth of stuff of the new single player stuff. And the new single player stuff is a combination of this little camp that you go to, and it's a bunch of little challenge levels. Again, sort of remixed versions of the levels in the main game. And there'll be things like you have to get to the end within the time limit, or you have to defeat all of the enemies within the time limit, or get to the end without touching any coins, or get to the end without touching any enemies, or there's one section of them that, because they're all sort of broken up by these sections and you sort of unlock more of them depending on the number that you've cleared. There's one that is keep an invincibility star going until the end of the level. So they're all dotted around and you have to just make sure you're constantly hitting all of them. And they're fun. They're fun little kind of post-gamey little remix challenge things. They do get kind of fairly challenging pretty quickly. There's a couple that are the defeat all the enemies ones where if you sort of miss one and you sort of restep by a second, you're probably not going to make it in the time limit. The timing is really tight to do it within the time limit. And they're fun. And then the other main thing that is a single player component of this DLC is that there's a new Koopalings sort of storyline that is in the main game.
Right.
Where in each of the worlds, there's a little toad who's oh, I've been on the hunt for the Koopalings and I found one of them. And it takes you into sort of a mini level that's, again, remixed from the main game that ends in a boss fight with one of the Koopalings that's sort of taken on one of these wonder powers to sort of change how it looks and take up the full screen. And they're really cool. The boss battles in this game originally, as in most Mario games, was fine, but they're never the most creative part of these games. They tend to reuse a lot of stuff in boss battles.
Yes, yes.
They're not very compelling, but these are all great. These should have been just like the main boss battles in the main game. They're very interesting. They're all very different from one another, and yeah, there's only one for each world, and they're not like crazy long or anything, but they're fun. Yeah, all of this is just a nice excuse to re-engage with the main game.
Yeah. And yeah, it was such a fantastic game, like such a breath of fresh air in the 2D Mario universe.
And it already looked incredible and ran at 60, but it's had a little bump up to 4K on the TV, and I think now it's 1080p in hand, or just whatever the high end of what the Switch is capable of.
Yeah.
It's definitely not one of those ones like a, Breath of the Wild where you notice the frame rate being up, or a Pokemon Scarlet Violet where it runs properly now. It's more like, it was already 60 and looked amazing, but I guess if you've got like a higher end TV, maybe you notice that crispness a little more. But it's I would love there to have been a DLC for this, which is a new world with new fresh levels.
Yeah.
My probably naive hope for that is that they did not do that because they're working on a sequel and they want to keep the new ideas for that.
Yep.
I think if you've not played the original and you've gotten a Switch 2, then this is a no-brainer.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
And this little stuff that's on top feels like a neat little director's cut. As for paying for it, if you, have already played the base game, maybe worth it. I don't know. It just keep in mind that it is more just like fun little extra challenges than like new, a whole new set of new levels or whatever. But
and it depends.
At the very least, hey, it inspires you to fuck around in the game again. And I've been dipping back into some of the levels in the base game, and it's been fun for that.
And I guess if like a bunch of mates are going to all get it, then the time spent in the multiplayer stuff could push the value over the threshold a little bit.
I would say it seems to be mostly designed for that. Like if you were playing through the base game with your kids and they had a good time with that, then it seems like, from what I've heard, these challenge things are being well received.
Right.
I was going to try and see if I could get Lauren to play some of them with me, just be able to report back, but we didn't get time over the weekend. But I get the impression that those are fun, and it does seem like an update that's been put in there mostly for the purposes of, kids are about to go see the new Mario movie, and they'll want, this is like a fun thing that all of the family can play together in not as, if you're not as versed in like, getting to the end of the level and doing the challenge of the game, like here's a bunch of little Mario Party-esque little fuck around things.
Yeah, nice. Well, a game that isn't really for the whole family is a game that I I sunk all my spare time into over the past week. I finished at least one ending of Esoteric Ebb, which...
Baby.
Man, I fucking loved it. This is definitely going to be one of the games of the year for me. It's certainly going to be, something that I think about a lot and probably go back and replay, similar to Disco Elysium, because, just the amount of writing in there, and it's all good. I like all of it. I think it's all very funny or insightful. It's all very interesting. And this is just one version of the character, one perspective on playing through it that I got to see. It's just, it's awesome. Like, it's so well thought out. It all like functions as this really cohesive approach to this world that is kind of a stand-in for the real world, like very much kind of divides the world into, the workers. Because, like I said last week, it's you're investigating this crime, which itself is very interesting and turns into this, very cool noir-esque sort of plot of corruption and conflicting loyalties and moral grey areas, which I really, really liked. But then the backdrop is this, very cool, very interesting little city where the election is, broken down into the Workers' Party and then sort of the Free Market Party that is also positioned as kind of the Democratic Party. Then there's like the nationalists and these, and yeah, it's got this very Terry Pratchett kind of approach of like these clear sort of analogues for real life, but treated with a bit of dark humor and a bit of levity that, I just really, really enjoyed it. It's far less sort of dark and depressing than Disco Elysium, or like cynical, and I love that about that game. This is far more, I think, approachable to most people, and it's probably got a more palatable sense of humor to most people. But it's just there's so much depth to it, and I loved it. I can't wait to play it again, and I highly recommend it. Get around it.
I've got this sitting on the hard drive.
Oh yes,
not
brother,
gone in yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Fuck yeah.
A lot of people getting on board this game and really, really pumping it up.
Yeah, and the other thing I've been doing this week, I thought I'd just give a brief update on the game I've been working on.
Yes.
So it is a city builder with a big story aspect and a lot of sort of very, very, what would you say, simplified but interesting like political mechanics. So the idea is that it'll be a city builder and you spend money and resources to build things, and you have little like ongoing goals and quests and things, but overarching, the idea is that the better you go, the more you progress, the more prosperous you are, the more people from neighboring cities come in and try and fucking suck out some lifeblood of yours and put the screws on you. You got to kind of balance, corruption versus punishment and all sorts of things. But what I've done so far, for anyone who's interested and can remember when I kind of started this thing, I've got working terrain, I've got ocean, sand, grass, I've got hills, I've got little inland pools, I've got a working building system, so you can build houses, you can build things like fountains with an area of effect radius that give water to nearby houses, grocery stores, woodcutters, stone miners, what else have I got? Tailors, farms, sort of that first layer of like the shit that you would build in a city builder. And then I've also got little guys who are animated and they go from place to place, and they go from their little woodcutter lodge to the forest, and they cut down a tree and they take the tree in a little cart to the warehouse. And then I've got like sort of more like UI stuff. So kind of like you can click on a population tab and it goes like, you've got housing for this many people, or housing is all full. If you want to expand, build more houses. And village, like resident satisfaction based on how much food they've got access to, if they've got clothing delivered, if they've got beer delivered. You've got an overall reputation for the city based on how many orders you fulfill. I've set that up so that you can get a little pop-up being like, the capital wants 40 fish. And then you can like stockpile your fish and then send it off. What else have I got? I've got a lot of systems working, which is really cool, and I'm really, really happy with. I'm basically at the point now where I want to make it look how I want it to look. And that is honestly, like all of that stuff, learning how to code all of that stuff and getting it to work, it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of, banging my head against a brick wall for like a full day on one problem, which was still quite enjoyable. But getting an art style and a 3D art style to work is it's a whole nother fucking hurdle, and it's a whole nother like skill set to learn. So yeah, like I've been learning a lot in Blender, but I also got this cool app on the iPad called Feather, and it is basically, it's drawing in 3D. So like freehand, but sort of drawing a little marker or a little guide, and that creating like a flat plane that you can then draw on. And it being in like Blender, like a 3D space that you can rotate, and basically try and sort of freehand create these 3D assets using like
I started fucking
pencil.
around with Feather the other day too. Yeah,
oh, nice.
It's quite overwhelming to get your head around. But
it is.
Once you figure that out, it's cool.
Yeah.
When you see the like demo stuff that's on there, it's awesome.
Yeah, and like I watched the beginner's tutorial like 10 times because some of the kind of UI and some of the approach is not super intuitive, but I also think like for what it actually lets you do, it kind of has to be a bit complex because it's doing something that is not super easily done in other apps and other programs. So I've had a crack at that, and it, again, like I said, it feels like learning an entire new skill set. But it's really fun. It's awesome. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that. With my spare time.
Nice. Well, that is going to do us for this week on Filthy Casuals. As we said, get on the Patreon, filthycasuals.com.au. Support the show. Keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Get a bonus episode every week. Get in the Discord. Get our Special Zone episode, which will be coming out, I guess, today? I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess it'll be out today. Yeah.
Be out already.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. We will see you next time. And as we say here at the end of every episode of Filthy Casuals, do a barrel roll. I can't wait to hear that in IMAX in a couple of days.